Israel's a massive part of the West's geopolitical interests in the Middle East. It's very good for like keeping Iran in check and like power balances more generally. And also just, protecting the Suez Canal and serving interests of the West. And this is why it's not surprising what's happened to me at all, and like how unequivocally they support them, because it just serves our interests. And the mess that would come with, and by mess I mean in terms of like having to work through the situation of like improving the Palestinians' life materially, is just not in Western interest. They would much rather just support the state of Israel because it does what they want in terms of like Middle Eastern geopolitics. And also it's a great cash cow. I think I saw someone talking about the CEO of Raytheon literally saying that this is great for them. You know, it's an arms manufacturing company. It's part of the military industrial complex. Israel is a massive exporter of weapons and also a massive buyer of weapons. And so the response hasn't been surprising, but it's just been more worrying, I think. I know that this has been actually a thing for a longer time, and we saw a massive war hawk in Tony Blair who followed Iraq into a disastrous and completely false invasion of Iraq. And so, in a sense, it's very upsetting. It's just very hard to feel like I can vote, because how do I vote for someone who supports genocide? I thought Labour would have taken a position that was more ceasefire, because personally, a ceasefire is what we need. And I would never, ever, ever want to contradict that, because there are people right now in Gaza who are dying, and talking about the politics, which I'm interested in right now, is not appropriate in terms of saying, no, there shouldn't be a ceasefire, because we need to talk about Israeli settler colonialism, not this specific event.
Well, what Labour have proposed is, well, particularly what Starmer is now proposing, is a humanitarian truce. How is that different from a ceasefire?
Seemingly, in my understanding, this humanitarian truce is just like a really short pause, whereas the ceasefire is binding of like, don't actually attack each other. I assume with the truce, they will just decide a certain amount of days and then they'll just resume bombing, which to me is, absolutely ridiculous. Like, oh, have a bit of food and now we're just going to continue bombing you. And it's...
To me, a humanitarian truce is a bit like, imagine a football match, player gets injured, the physio comes on, makes sure the player's okay, potentially takes them off, new player comes on, the game continues. That's, to me, is how a humanitarian truce would work.
Yeah.